evening and many thanks for choosing KUTV News at 9 on the 3rd day of June to keep you informed. It is the first Wednesday of this month and we are drawing closer to the other half of the year. But for now, let's begin with the highlights and then we dive deep into what has been happening across the country.
Kenya and the US government signed an agreement on cooperation in threat reduction, biological and infectious diseases.
Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale clarifies plans for the proposed Ebola quarantine facility, saying the agreement was signed during the administrations of Uhuru Kenyatta and Barack Obama.
That was submitted on the 31st of March this year by KPLC on behalf of the sector.
Reprieve for Kenyans as Ministry withdraws a proposal to increase electricity tariffs nationwide. Criticism against the government intensifies as DCP leaders cite economic hardships and rising unemployment as part of failed promises. Reproductive health experts raise alarm over increasing cases of teenage pregnancies and new HIV infections.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
On the sign language interpretation, I'm accompanied by Mutava Mungeli. Engage with us on our socials on X at KUTV Kenya at Kemuma_Monari. We are streaming live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya. Let's begin. Now, the Ministry of Energy today moved to clear the air on matters relating to electricity tariffs, with Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi announcing that the ministry has withdrawn its proposal to review electricity tariffs. Our reporter Hassan Lewa has more on that story.
Speaking to the media, the Ministry of Energy headquarters in Nairobi, Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi had good news for Kenyans today.
That I will be reading concerning the matter of electricity tariff.
Wandayi announced that the proposal to increase electricity tariffs, which had been submitted by his ministry to the Energy and Petroleum Regulation Authority (EPRA) on 31st March, has been withdrawn.
Now, the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum wishes to inform the public that following consultations within government and engagement with key stakeholders in the sector, the detailed electricity tariff review application that was submitted on the 31st of March this year by KPLC on behalf of the sector has been withdrawn.
This means that electricity prices will remain unchanged for the households and businesses that rely on electricity.
The current retail electricity tariffs shall remain in force and unchanged unless otherwise lawfully reviewed in accordance with the Energy Act and applicable procedures.
Wandayi says the decision is part of the government's efforts to shield Kenyans from effects of rising electricity costs.
Now, this decision reflects the need to buttress a sustainable energy sector while protecting households, businesses, and industries from possible cost escalation. It aims to support economic growth, safeguard livelihoods, and create jobs.
The Ministry of Energy has also stated that the withdrawal of the proposed tariff increase will not affect the supply and distribution of electricity to consumers across the country.
The withdrawal of the application does not in any way affect the continued delivery of electricity services. Consumers and businesses, wherever they are, should continue to enjoy uninterrupted access to electricity under the current tariff structure.
Hassan Lewa, KUTV.
Now, 9 students suspected of starting the dormitory fire at Utumishi Girls Academy will remain in custody for another 21 days. The directive was issued by a court in Naivasha as police continue with investigations into the incident. The court also directed investigators to complete their probe by the 24th of June, when the case will be mentioned once again. Now, calls are growing for the Ministry of Education to ensure all public and private boarding schools across the country fully comply with safety regulations to prevent avoidable disasters. Leaders from Embu County have urged the ministry to fast-track inspections of learning institutions to verify compliance with building safety standards, students' capacity requirement, and fire prevention measures. Following the recent fire tragedy at Utumishi School in Nakuru County, they have also called for firm action against school administrators who violate safety regulations, while emphasizing the need for dialogue to address the rising cases of student unrest in schools.
Nikisema ya kwamba vile serikali kupitia Wizara ya Elimu imepeana maagizo ya kuzingatia katika shule zetu, waone ya kwamba hizo manuals zimefuatiwa. Kama ni mambo ya dormitories, hizo grills na madirisha zizingatiwe katika shule na kufanywe msako katika mashule yetu, kuonekane ni shule gani imetimiza na ni gani ambayo haijatimiza.
Safety iwe ikiangaliwa. Kuna mambo ya sheria ilipitishwa. Hata mimi mmoja wale walisoma barua ya vile shule sinafaa ifuatilie mambo ya shule, mambo ya stima, mambo ya nini na mambo ya fire extinguisher. Kila shule iwe na vitu kama hizo. Kwa sababu ni aibu kubwa sana wakati mzazi wa akina mama ama mwanaume amepeleka mtoto shule na instant ya kurundiwa na mtoto akiwa uhai, amekuwa ni mambo ya hali si mzuri.
Now, away from that and into matters politics, elected leaders allied to the united opposition have accused President William Ruto's administration of underperforming, citing rising economic hardships, high unemployment levels, and unfulfilled promises. The leaders argue that these challenges reflect what they describe as a growing disconnect between government commitment and the real realities facing many Kenyans. Their remarks come amidst continued debate over the state of the economy and the government's delivery of its key campaign pledges.
The united opposition has intensified pressure on President William Ruto's administration, citing rising public discontent of economic challenges and governance concerns as evidence of growing dissatisfaction with government performance.
That means what? I'm not sure about that.
The DCP Secretary General, Senator John Metho, criticized the government, saying leadership has lost direction and accountability. He called for urgent corrective action, warning that public confidence in national leadership is steadily declining.
It is titled, "Let us stop the pretense, Mr. President. Government is not propaganda." In exercising our constitutional duty as leaders and citizens under Article 1, Article 3, Article 10, Article 73, Article 129, Article 131, and Article 258 of the Constitution of Kenya, and in response to the recent open letter issued by senior officials of the United Democratic Alliance Party,
DCP leaders have raised concerns over the conduct of key state institutions, urging impartial service delivery and warning against perceived political interference. They say restoring public trust will require firm commitment to neutrality, transparency and prioritizing citizens' welfare in governance.
The president is not elected to lead one side of the nation against another. A president is elected to lead the nation itself. The Constitution does not permit government by propaganda. It demands accountability. Chapter 6 does not permit arrogance in public office. It demands integrity.
On the other hand, the leaders raise concern over the tax burden, saying it continues to strain household and business amid rising living costs. They argue that current fiscal policies are deepening financial pressure on citizens and slowing economic relief and recovery efforts.
Public funds are not campaign material. They are taxpayers' money. Mr. President, constitutional government is measured not merely by the policies it announces, but by its fidelity to the rule of law and its development track record. Increasingly, Kenyans are witnessing a troubling pattern in which court orders are treated as inconveniences rather than binding commands of the law.
The leaders maintain that without addressing taxation and cost of living pressures, economic strain is likely to persist, with growing concerns over affordability and household resilience across the country. Edanerea, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, some members of the United Democratic Alliance Party in Mombasa County have rallied behind the party's Secretary General Hassan Omar amidst growing pressure from a section of leaders in the Mount Kenya region, demanding his resignation over remarks alleged to be tribal and divisive. The members maintain that Omar's statements were misinterpreted and insist that his intention was to defend land ownership rights in the coast region. They have also called on President William Ruto to retain him in office despite increasing demands for his removal.
Hivi majuzi umeona kwamba kuna viongozi wa eneo lingine ambao wale misinterpret vile SG Hassan Omar Hassan alivyokuwa anaongea. SG Hassan Omar Hassan alikuwa yeye kama kiongozi wa eneo la Pwani anajaribu kutetea watu wake kwamba yale mashamba yalikuwa yamekuwa grabbed kwamba wenyewe waregeshewe. Na hapo sio kama kuna makosa. Hakuchochea eti ukabila.
Watu wa Mombasa hawana ukabila. Kitu ya kwanza, unaona vile mabari inakaa. Watu wa Mombasa wanakaa namna.
Okay, we are due for our first break on this broadcast. On the other end are more reports that are relevant to you, so keep it KUTV.
We know life gets busy, but your well-being is of great importance. At KUTV's Focus on Health, we cut through the clutter, bringing you expert advice to keep you well informed for your well-being and that of your family. Every Thursday, 7:30 p.m., join me, Yvonne Kemuma, as we bring you health and wellness right at home.
Msana lugha. Lugha ni zaidi ya maneno. Ndio maana sisi Waswahili kila siku tunaitumia kazini, mitaani, kwenye mapenzi na katika jamii. Jiunge nami Padironga kila Jumapili katika Mawimbi ya Lugha, tukichambua Kiswahili kwa undani, maana yake, mabadiliko yake na nafasi yake katika maisha yetu. Kutoka utambulisho, mapenzi hadi mustakabali wa lugha yetu. Mawimbi ya Lugha kila Jumapili, usikose saa 2.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
And welcome back. As always, it's a pleasure hearing from you. Engage with us on our socials, on X at KUTV Kenya, at Kemuma_Munari on YouTube. We are streaming live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya will continue. Now, Health Cabinet Secretary Ada Ndwale has told the National Assembly Health Committee that the plan to establish an Ebola quarantine and treatment facility in Nanyuki stems from an agreement signed during the administrations of former President Uhuru Kenyatta and former US President Barack Obama. Ndwale said the facility will help strengthen Kenya's capacity to respond to Ebola outbreaks and other infectious diseases. His remarks comes as Uganda reports 12 Ebola cases and 2 related deaths.
Regarding the recent media reports alleging that Kenya has entered into an agreement with the United States of Government to establish a quarantine facility for US citizens or foreign nationals, I wish to state it clearly that Kenya and the US government signed an agreement on cooperation in threat reduction, biological and infectious diseases engagement program on the 24th July 2015 during the state visit of our President and President Barack Obama. President Uhuru and President Barack Obama. The agreements were therefore approved by the cabinet then in April of 2016 and subsequently introduced in this House in Parliament, laid on the table of the House on the 19th of July 2016.
Now, Safina Party leader Jimmy Wanjigi has called on the government to abandon plans to establish an Ebola treatment and quarantine facility in the country, arguing that the move could pose a risk to the health and safety of Kenyans. Speaking at a public rally in the Shimanzi area of Mombasa County, Wanjigi said the government's primary responsibility is to protect citizens and not visitors, not expose them to the threat of highly infectious diseases. He maintained that any decision on such a facility should prioritize public safety and national interests.
As he continued his nationwide public consultation on governance and economic issues, Safina Party leader Jimmy Wanjigi used the platform to oppose the proposed establishment of an Ebola quarantine facility in the country.
Wa-American ambao hata Trump anasema hawataki waingie huku, unawaalika hapa kuletea ugonjwa wa Ebola. Quarantine hakuna hiyo, hatutaki. Hata Amerika, hata Trump amekataa mambo ya quarantine huku kwake. Anasema Waamerikana hawawezi kufika huku kwake kama wako na hiyo Ebola. Sasa tunawaleta hapa nini? Hiyo ukarimu ndio ulileta ukoloni hapa. Hiyo ukarimu wa Mwafrika. Hiyo tumeipinga kabisa.
Wanjigi stressed that the president has a constitutional duty to ensure the safety of Kenyans and that the government should be held fully accountable if its decisions expose citizens to public health risks.
Rais William Ruto, you swore an allegiance to the people of Kenya. You are being judged. And if one Kenyan dies because you have broken that allegiance, as you have many times, it is on your head.
At the same time, the politician called on opposition leaders to avoid engaging solely in criticism of the government and instead present alternative policies and strategies that can offer solutions to the challenges facing Kenyans.
Mambo ya opposition, hata sisi tuko kwa opposition na mushike vizuri. Lakini tuwasema opposition iwe kitu ya wananchi wa Kenya, si kusema tu one term, two term, no term. Hiyo ni maslogan kama ile ya Hustler Dynasty, kama nini. Tuwasema tuzungumzie mambo ya wananchi wa Kenya, ile kitu ambao inasumbua wananchi wa Kenya. So tunasema hata tukishikana basi nini.
Additionally, Wanjigi announced that he plans to launch his presidential campaign after completing his nationwide consultation tours, saying his goal is to present an alternative agenda for development and governance to the people of Kenya. Rajab Juma, KUTV.
Now, 31 people arrested during demonstrations against a proposed Ebola quarantine facility at the Laikipia Air Base today are arraigned at the Nanyuki Law Court. 7 pleaded guilty and were fined 10,000 shillings each, while 14 denied the charges and were released on bond pending hearing. Take a look.
The protesters were arrested following demonstrations opposing the planned quarantine facility, which authorities say is part of national preparedness measures against possible Ebola outbreaks. In court, 7 of the accused admitted to the charges and were fined, while others denied the allegations and secured bond as the case continues. The protests have sparked debate among residents, with some expressing concerns over the location of the facility and demanding greater public participation before its establishment. Activists have also called for the release of those still in custody following clashes linked to the demonstrations. The unrest reportedly left 1 person dead and several others injured.
People arrested, and also we have confirmed 1 death from a young man by the name Charles, and also we have confirmed 5 injuries. Yet some are released to go home and some are still in hospital undergoing some medical checkup. And we see that we really stand in solidarity with the family that they were affected mostly by death, and also who are in the hospital. We as Defenders Coalition, we see how we can be able to help, because it was our right to give our grievances to the world that we don't want Ebola quarantine in Nanyuki. And lastly is to ask the world and also the Kenyans to support the fellow youths who are in the custody right now, to make sure they get their freedom, because they are fighting for our freedom.
Laikipia Deputy Governor Ruben Kamuri noted residents' concerns should be addressed through dialogue, even as the county and national government continue to support public health preparedness efforts.
Wananchi wa Laikipia na Kenya mzima wamesema kitu moja. Anything to do with an isolation quarantine unit in Laikipia Air Base or Nanyuki environments hawataki. Na jana kukakuwa na maandamano. Na kwanza nishukuru all the stakeholders ambao walikuja, wale walikuwa na participate hiyo. The idea we should always have peaceful demonstration. Anything that touches on what need to be done in terms of engagement, wacha stakeholders wote waitwe.
Authorities insist the quarantine facility is a key public health measure and have urged residents to remain calm as the matter proceeds through the courts. The case is expected to be mentioned later this month amid continuing debate over safety concerns and community involvement in the project. Rajab Juma, KUTV.
Now, efforts to address rising cases of teenage pregnancies and new HIV infections among young people took center stage at a sexual and reproductive health conference in Mombasa. The Ministry of Health says it is strengthening adolescent health programs through the training of healthcare workers and expanding access to vital reproductive health information and services.
The Ministry of Health has reaffirmed its commitment to improving sexual and reproductive health education across the country. Speaking during the conference in Mombasa, the head of the Reproductive and Maternal Health Department, Dr. Bishar Isaac, said that the government is investing in healthcare worker training and community-based programs aimed at equipping adolescents with accurate health information and access to quality services. According to the Ministry of Health, teenage pregnancy remains a major public health concern in the country. Nationally, about 15% of girls aged between 15 and 19 are either pregnant or already mothers. The situation is particularly severe in counties such as Samburu, where the rates stand at 50%, and West Pokot at 36%.
Kenya's teenage pregnancy rate remains one of the most urgent public health challenges we face. Nationally, approximately 15% of our mothers, our young 15 to 19 are either pregnant or already mothers. In counties like Samburu, that figure rises to 50%. This is a show of inequality and equity. In West Pokot, at 6%, these numbers represent girls whose dreams have been interrupted, shattered.
The ministry also expressed concerns over HIV infections among the young people.
2025, 41% of the new HIV infection in Kenya were among adolescents and young people aged between 15 to 24. Mother-to-child transmission rose from 7.3 to 9.3%. In Garissa, just 15% of adolescent girls have comprehensive HIV knowledge. Only 26% of adolescent girls nationally know that a condom prevents HIV transmission.
The conference attracted more than 750 participants from 44 countries. Among those in attendance was International Planned Parenthood Federation Regional Director Dr. Claudia Shilomani, who emphasized the importance of sustained investment in young people, saying Africa's future development depends on protecting and advancing their sexual and reproductive health rights.
How many of you have heard about youth being the demographic dividend for Africa? All of us, right? But let us be honest with ourselves. That is a potential. It is not realized, and we should not take it for granted. It is not automatic. It has to be earned through deliberate, sustained, and courageous investment in our young people.
Stakeholders at the conference called for stronger partnership between governments, healthcare providers, educators, and communities to improve adolescents' health outcomes and reduce preventable pregnancies and HIV infections across the continent. Hassan Lewa, KUTV.
And we're due for a second break on the broadcast. On the other end, we get into the counties, so stay tuned.
Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of EarthCheck. Welcome.
You KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
And welcome back. Continue engaging with us on our socials at KUTV News Kenya at Kemuma_Monari, accompanied by Mutava Mwongeli. Now let's continue. Now the clerk of the Nyamira County Assembly, Duke Simeon Onyari, has been arrested by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission over allegations of corruption and the misappropriation of more than 30 million shillings in the construction of the Assembly's office block. The ESCC says its investigations uncovered irregularities and violations of public procurement procedures in the award of the tender, leading to the approval of charges against 7 county officials by the Director of Public Prosecutions. Onyari is expected to appear in court on Thursday after his application seeking to stop his arrest was dismissed.
Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission received a report that alleged irregular procurement and award for the construction of an office block to Jetta Building Limited by the County Assembly of Nyamira. So investigations were done, and we had established that the County Government of Nyamira, County Assembly of Nyamira, recommended the award of the tender to the company known as Jetta Builders, which was not the lowest evaluated bidder. This actually amounted to conferring of a benefit of 30,817,396 to Jetta Contractors Limited. On review, approved charges on the following persons. One, Mr. Duke Simon Onyari, who is the clerk in Nyamira County Assembly. Mr. Leonard Kevin Nyamasege, who is the deputy clerk, stroke director, finance and accounts.
Now, coffee farmers across Kisii County have received a major boost after the county government distributed 100,000 coffee seedlings and an agricultural support program led by Governor Simba Arati. The distribution, which covers all 9 constituencies, is aimed at increasing coffee production and improving farmers' incomes through the adoption of high-yielding varieties. Governor Arati said the seedlings are of the Ruiru 11 variety, which has the potential to produce up to 5 kilograms of coffee per plant each season. He added that the county targets to distribute 500,000 seedlings before the next general elections, even as plans advance to establish a caffeine extraction factory at Tongeri Industrial Park to create jobs and boost value addition.
I'm an happy man this morning, or this afternoon, to see that what I promised my people, it has come to pass. The seeds that we are giving out is really 11, which does very well. I'm told one plant does 5 kgs per season, not per year, per season. Therefore, we are looking forward to improve the lives of our people, to put money into their pockets. I've decided that I'll force my farmers to put money into their pockets.
Right, we are well into the sporting arena now in an effort to empower young people and protect them from drug abuse. Residents and leaders in Karumande area, Kirinyaga County, have continued to use football as a tool to engage youth and provide them with a positive direction in life. The tournaments have contributed to a decline in cases of indiscipline, substance abuse, and mental health challenges that are often associated with unemployment among the young people. Organizers of the competitions, together with local residents, say the initiative has brought renewed hope and strengthened social cohesion for youths to develop their talents and build a better future.
Hawa vijana kuimprove talent zao, at the same time kupunguza maneno ya madawa na pombe na maneno ya mental health. Before tulikuwa kabla ya launch season 1 and 2, tulikuwa na vijana wengi wanajinyonga, maneno ya shida za kiakili.
Kusema ukweli, kama hata mimi ni kijana ningekuwa kwa sahihi, ningekuwa mahali kwa mbaa, lakini saizi niko hapa na watch game.
Tunashukuru kwa huyu MC wetu ninio ambaye alichaguliwa, sababu ametusikilia vijana zaidi ya yote, na tumeona vijana hawasunguki, amewashika.
Objective ilikuwa kwa vijana, kuempower vijana, kuimprove talent zao, at the same time kupunguza maneno ya madawa na pombe na maneno ya mental health.
Well, it is a wrap. Many thanks for keeping us company from the top of the hour up until this point, where I bid you farewell, and I trust to see you another time, same time, same place. My name is Yvonne Kemuma. On the sign language was Mutava Mwenge, and on behalf of the entire team behind this production, I wish you a good night.